His body is at its end. He works too hard. He's not going to make it. He's deteriorating. Really? Is there anything we can do? The physician says there's one thing you can do. If you follow my instructions for the next 10 months, 5 rules you have to follow meticulously for 10 months. If you follow them, your husband's stress level will be reduced and his life will be saved. What are the 5 rules? Waiters, can you hold up till I finish, please? Hold up, please, till I finish. Thank you. The 5 rules are, thank you very much. The 5 rules are as follows. Rule number 1, the doctor says, when your husband comes home from work, food has to be waiting for him at the table, on the table. You can't be thinking about dinner. You can't be talking to your girlfriend, what are you making for dinner? He doesn't have time for that. Nor can you take out a cracker or a granola bar that you discovered that day in a health store and say, hey, look at this new health food. You cut it up in 8 pieces with a chocolate in 8 pieces and eat it and celebrate and expect him to have that for dinner? No. Your husband needs a big fatty dinner on the table with plastic over the plate to retain its heat. And please, the doctor tells her, let it be food that Jewish men like, which means not healthy. Don't serve him soybeans, barley kernels, or tofu and expect him to stay married. No, let it be meat, potato, rice, pasta, ketchup, deadly, horrific food, killing people in all 6 continents, all over the place. That is what he needs. And not 1 course, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 courses to the point where he can't breathe anymore. This is exactly what you want to give him. Which, by the way, talking about going kosher, it doesn't have to do with kosher, but it has to do with marriage counseling. Many women don't understand this about men. About men, you have to know 2 things. They have to be fed and watered. They're not that complicated. Men are simple people. There's things they like and there's things they don't like. It's not like women. Women are much more complicated, with all due respect. So men just need to eat, most of them. And when they don't, they're very dangerous as species, because they become very, very grouchy, but they're too macho to tell you the truth. They don't tell you the truth, that the reason they're angry is because they're hungry. They start saying, who touched the screwdriver? Who touched my computer? Where's my pen? Where are my keys? The guy couldn't care less about his screwdriver. He didn't look at it in centuries. He won't look at it in centuries. You all know that. You ever saw how Gentiles take care of tools and Jews take care of tools? Every Gentile has a special home for tools. You ever saw where Jews hold their tools in a drawer? They have there a plier and a hammer and maybe a screwdriver and a wrench. That's it, a plier maybe. And so he doesn't care less about it. The guy is hungry. A woman came over to me. She tells me that my husband is an obnoxious beast. After a lecture, I say, what happened? She says, you should hear what he says at night. He's an obnoxious beast. So I asked her, I happen to know her husband. I say, he's a nice guy, I think. She says, you don't know him. I ask her, tell me, what time does he come home from work? She says, he comes home from work 5:30. What time do you serve dinner? She says, 7:30. I said, I hate to say he's not an obnoxious beast. He's a hungry animal. Sometimes they don't have to send them to marriage counseling. Some of them are real lemons and they need marriage counseling. But not all of them. Some of them just need to be fed to the point of exhaustion, because by men, food has the same numerology as Mashiach. It is their Messiah. Even though it's not, because you didn't give them enough food. You give them more, it will become the Messiah. The reason why most women don't do this is because they don't know this. The reason they don't know this is because when women are hungry, they don't hide it like men. They walk around the home telling everybody how hungry they are. I haven't eaten all day. I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm starving. I didn't eat anything. So finally her husband turns to her and says, so eat. The refrigerator is filled with food. It's making me nauseous. Men don't know of a concept that food makes you nauseous. By men, the rule is, if it doesn't eat you, you eat it. They don't understand that at this moment you're incapable of eating the food in the refrigerator because you're going to throw up because it's nauseous. They don't understand. So you walk around saying, I'm starving, I haven't eaten. And he's like, go eat. You idiot. You think your wife doesn't know that when you're hungry you should go eat? She doesn't want to go eat. She wants to complain. She wants to tell you how hungry she is so that you should identify and say, yes, it's not only today you haven't eaten, yesterday you also haven't eaten. In fact, you haven't eaten, I think, in years. In fact, I want to submit tomorrow to the Guinness Book of World Records. The woman who eats least and starves most in the whole world has been sleep deprived and food deprived for 17 and a half years since the first kid was born. But you have to mean it, because if you don't mean it, you're dead. You really have to mean it. The point is that with men, it's not always so complicated. I'm telling you, you don't always have to spend the $13,000 on marriage counseling. Give it to Rabbi Lubavitch and buy him food. With many of them, it will work. I have saved marriages. After you feed your husband like a hippopotamus, they become the kindest people in the world. I'm telling you, it's simple with them. Feed them, compliment them, and they're kind, they're angelic, and that's it. Again, I know there are exceptions, and him you have to kill. But the rest of them, just feed. Anyway, I'm in the middle of a doctor's appointment, you forgot. Okay. So this is the first rule of the doctor. You remember? He comes home, there has to be food and real food, and of course kosher food. And if your kitchen is not kosher, go kosher. That's number one. Rule number two, the doctor says, when he finishes eating, even if your husband offers to clean up, don't let him. He's tired. Tell him, darling, you look so exhausted. Please, don't clean up. You go on the couch, watch Larry King or Seinfeld. I will clean up. I will sweep. I will mop. I will do the laundry. I will get the house together. And at 4 a.m. when I'm done, I'll come join you on the couch for MASH. Rule number 3, the doctor says. Rule number 3 is you must compliment your husband 20 times a day. You must tell him, I know you should be running for the presidency. Obama, fat. McCain, Hillary soll der Oberste aushitten. You're the man. You are the man. Okay, if not for president, at least prime minister of Israel. Olmert can't even get away with stealing $300,000. You stole millions and you're... Just compliment him. Just compliment him. Einstein was smart. Einstein. Sure. Relativity, as though we didn't know in every yeshiva that everything is relative. Who doesn't know that everything is relative? 3 hairs in soup is a lot. 3 hairs on the head is garnished. It's relative. Einstein, you're the brilliant man. Instruction number 4, the doctor says, you must fulfill all of your husband's desires. Since I'm a rabbi, I can't elaborate. Instruction number 5. Instruction number 5. You could never, ever disagree with your husband again. Whatever he says is automatically right. And the doc says, listen, honey, if you do this for 10 months straight, his stress level will be significantly reduced, and we will save his life. They leave the doctor's office, they get into the car. He turns to his wife and he says, honey, you have been a long time in the doctor's office. What was he telling you? What did he say? She looks at him and she says, darling, the doctor said that you are going to die. And so, my dear friends, may husbands feed their wives, may wives feed their husbands, may mothers and fathers feed their children, the Jewish way, the Italian way, whichever way you want. Always say the difference is this: they both feed their teenagers pasta. The Italian mother gives her 16-year-old pasta, the Jewish mother gives her 16